Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank everyone for being here. Nancy, where is Nancy? She's here.
Does everyone know what this is? Everyone know what this is? Transformer, right? Yes. Okay, I have requested that Griffin help us with that. Why is it called a transformer, not just a figurine?
Because it transforms into other T shapes.
Yeah, it starts out one way, and there's an old, there's a before, and there will be an after. It's not just a new thing, right? It's a new thing that comes from an old thing. This week, Jed said the same thing about this room. He said, Nancy, what about how much this room was transformed when the Bloodmobile was here? You know, the blood donor, if we needed new space, we needed a new kind of way. This way of setting up wasn't really going to work for us to give blood, right? So it was very different. And Jed said, what a transformation occurred in that room. And it was transformed for a purpose because it wouldn't have worked otherwise. Change, in contrast to transformation, sometimes just happens. It's from the outside, it creates chaos, pain sometimes, but it's also sometimes what calls us in the midst of it to letting go, to living in the messy, confusing space for a while so that we can go on to the new place. Now, was our transformation finished?
Not really.
There's no way it would be. Oh, wow, but you,
It's sort of a car.
look at this. He's pretty good at this. I was expecting nothing. Let's get my hand good. He said, I don't let me
Follow my chairman.
I know, that's impressive. I tried to just take it apart and I thought, I'll never get it back to looking like the first thing, so I decided not to. Hopefully, transformation is what we are about here and what we will be about and what the board is about, of course. Our changes, which are many these days, may be messy and we may resist them and we may be confused as they push us around a bit. But hopefully transformation, a new thing, will come from the old. And later, we will give thanks for it as we look in our rearview mirror, perhaps, as a system or as individuals, and give thanks for the transformation that will occur, even though it may be messy. Will you pray about this time of transformation in whatever way is appropriate for you? If you're not a prayer, don't feel like you have to pray. But if you're a person who prays, please pray in silence, and then I will just briefly close our time of prayer. Gracious Spirit, everlasting and ever-changing, be with us in this time. Guide us in your transforming way, we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Nancy. Okay. Do we have any special guests? Okay. All right. Dr. Keys has an epic experience for us. That sounds big.
Epic transforming experience.
Actually, I'm going to introduce you to someone that has had an epic experience. I'd like for Rachel Solomon to come on up, and as she's coming up, I will tell you that what we like to do for each board meeting is to put the spotlight on some of our employees who are making a difference in people's lives, whether our Erlanger associates know it or not. Their dedication and professionalism not only impact those living in the Tennessee Valley area, but it reaches to our patients throughout the country, the world. I want you to meet Rachel Solomon, who never expected to make it to Erlanger or make an Erlanger connection, of all places, out of Rochester, Minnesota. Rachel will be the first to tell you that the doctors at the Mayo Clinic know all about what's happening on this campus thanks to our information technology team. Rachel, I'm going to let you give them your story.
Thank you. Thank you. I am humbled and honored to be here to speak with you. And also, I really want to thank you for the transformation. Because of the transformation, we left Chattanooga, myself and my partner, to get help for him at Rochester at the Mayo Clinic. And while we were there, we got a new diagnosis, some new information, which set us on a new course. But while we were there, and he was really trudging along well after his procedures and things, I decided, well, let me see about myself. Because I'm a caretaker, I'm a teacher, I'm like the last one to put the oxygen mask on, and I thought, why not? So I thought, I'll never get an appointment, but you can't say, you can't get yes if you don't ask. So I registered, and I got an appointment within 2 days. Since we had a one-way ticket, that was no problem. I got my appointment, and my first appointment, I thought, well, I'm here with my partner. We have all of his films, his CDs, we have every document he could possibly have needed, and I have nothing. And the first doctor I saw was an endocrinologist, and he said, well, that's okay, I have everything. And I said, well, I'm not going to say everything, but I have a lot of your information already. And I said, how's that possible? And he said, well, is Dr. Brunville one of your doctors? And I said, yes. She's my primary care physician. How do you know that? And, you get a little bit nervous, like, how do you possibly know that? And he said, we obviously are on the same computer system. And afterwards, first of all, I was floored because it had absolutely all of my information. And he turned the screen to me and showed me how everything was there. All of my labs, my values, the surgery that I had just had 6 months ago here at Erlanger. And I was really, I actually had tears. I'm not going to kid you, because I was like, wow, these guys are all going to be talking together. And this is a collaborative effort. And for me, continuity of care is the most important, because I don't need a whole bunch of people spinning plates in different directions. I do that very well myself. So when he showed me all of this, I was just floored. I actually went downstairs. They have a very elaborate computer system, and I went to ask. They said, well, we're on the Epic system. And they said, obviously, Erlanger is on the same Epic system, and they showed me how this network all came together, and I was absolutely floored. I shot Jed an email. I said, who would have thunk it? I came here for my partner Mike, and I stayed for me, and both of us are getting care, but we got knowledge more than anything to come back here and to have a better quality of life. And so I had no idea what the opening would be about the transformation, but I'm here about 25 years, and Erlanger has been through such major transformations, and for that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Jan. We need to take a moment and welcome our newest board member. Mr. John Germ has been appointed by the legislators, and this is his first board meeting. Would everyone please welcome him? Okay, so you've seen the minutes from the June 27th meeting. If I could have a motion for approval. Second. All in favor? Aye. We're going to go through our committees. Budget and Finance, was there a meeting?
No meeting.
Okay. Planning,
No meeting.
Audit and Compliance,
No meeting.
Legal, I don't believe Legal's met. Sheila's. There was no meeting. MBEC?
We did not meet.
Well, ours, nobody meeting. Executive Committee has met. We did meet, actually yesterday. All right, Britt?
Mr. Chairman. I have excellent news tonight. This resolution is something I'm very proud of. You mentioned, I've mentioned about a year and a half ago about a change in an accounting principle that was affecting all industries. And the change, again, not to get too technical, but it's from the Government Accounting Standards Board as well as the Financial Accounting Standards Board, where they're pretty much going to do away with all operating leases. And so, in other words, any leases that you would have, and that would include not only leasing equipment, leasing things, but leasing space would become debt under the new rules. And for Erlanger, since we're a governmental entity, that new pronouncement would go into effect in fiscal '21. So when this come out, we was looking at all the impacts for Erlanger, and one of the things that in our master indenture, which is the document that sort of controls our bonds, we have one covenant that we have abided by, which is the debt service coverage ratio. Well, if all those leases in the future become debt, obviously that impacts that ratio negatively. And so what I went on the journey along with my colleagues of getting the master trust indenture to lock down that these definitions in our covenant would be based on accounting rules that are in play today. And obviously you just can't do that on your own. You have to get the bondholders who own our debt to agree to that. Well, obviously that's a big deal because most people won't allow you to change the covenants. It requires a 51% vote or higher to change a rule, and so we did a lot of education of why we wanted to lock in the accounting rules as we are operating under today, etc. We held numerous phone calls as well. And I'm proud to say we had the vote of our bondholders, and we received greater than 51% approval to lock in that. So that was a huge win for Erlanger and a huge win for our debt structure. So what you have in front of you is the change, and for the board to ratify that we are locking in the definitions under the current accounting principles as of June 30, 2019. Again, I'm very excited our bondholders come through for that vote, and I was glad to be able to present good news to our board tonight.
Okay. Any questions? Sounds positive.
Yes.
We appreciate your hard work on that.
Oh, it's well worth it. I was glad we got the greater than 51%.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Second, Dr. Bolton. All in favor? Aye.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Mr. Gentry.
This resolution is for us to assume the responsibilities of the Murphy Hospital Retirement Program. Their retirement program is currently a 403B program. And when we assumed Murphy, which we know is Erlanger, Western Carolina, approximately 12 months ago, and viewed what should be consolidated, what should be centralized, and obviously the oversight of the retirement plan is a function that you would want to centralize. This resolution did pass through the Retirement Plan Subcommittee and is before you this evening as a recommendation from the Retirement Plan Subcommittee. The Murphy plan, the Murphy 403B plan, currently has approximately $17 million. The 403B plan is obviously employee contributions, but not only employee contributions, but also those contributions that are contributed by the employer on behalf of the employees. Floyd Chassie and the Human Resources Organization has worked diligently over the past 12 months to move the Murphy plan to the platform that we have in place. We do business with Prudential, so the Murphy plan has been moved to the Prudential platform, and not only the Prudential platform, but also the investment funds that the Murphy employees would have access to invest in, and where the company contributions would be invested. They do, the matching concept is a 3% base contribution, and then in addition to the 3% base contribution, employees can receive 2% if they will contribute 4%, so 50 cents on the dollar. You might be interested in if we are assuming any liabilities. Based on our knowledge, we are not assuming any historical regulatory liabilities and or financial liabilities. The plan is current from a financial perspective. Be glad to address any questions. We ask that you move the authority and the administration of the Murphy plan to the governance structure that we have in place in the authority.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Bolton, medical staff report.
I have no report.
Okay. Dr. Schott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of items. First of all, the final approval of Dr. Scott Steinman as the new chairman of the Department of Orthopedics has been, that announcement has been formally made. I have not yet seen it in the newspaper, but it's been sent to the press, both the television stations and the press. I don't know if the TV will pick it up, but we feel certain it'll be in the paper this weekend with a nice write-up about Dr. Steinman, and we're all anxious for his arrival, which will be, his scheduled start date is October 1st. So we're looking forward to that. The other thing is that, as you all know, we have been working, the College of Medicine and UT and Erlanger Health Group has been working towards a new affiliation agreement. And we should have finalized that on Monday at our scheduled meeting, but that meeting got canceled because lack of people from Memphis couldn't be on the call. That call has been rescheduled for tomorrow afternoon, and I suspect we will finalize the agreement. Maybe Mr. Spiegel wants to comment about that as well. But and once that's done, when we have the affiliation agreement signed off with Erlanger Medical Group, then we can move forward with USA and other groups that may want to participate. Kevin?
Sure. Had about an hour conversation today with Chancellor Schwab. They're working both with Dr. Jackson, Britt Tabor on the financial implications of this. It is moving forward. Dr. Schwab is going to be sending us a 10 bullet point document that he's also going to present to the UT trustees and to us on the same of the benefits of this affiliation practice plan.
Right.
And our intention is when we get this, all the issues resolved, we will present it to at least the executive committee first, going to one of the other committees, and then present it to the board. So we still have work to do on our side, which we have not done as yet. But our intention is to facilitate it. As we've been working on this way over a year. It's taken a long time, maybe longer than that.
At least a year, year and a half.
Kevin, are they gonna give us the money that they owe us?
Are you talking about the FICA money?
Yes, sir.
No. They give us some. They gave us some. If you remember at the last meeting that we had with the UT trustees, with Dr. Schwab and our trustees, they did an additional $250,000, which they matched to be $500,000 for the skills lab, which that was executed, and that money is available right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sharp.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin.
Today, we received notice that we won another award for the Kennedy Outpatient Center. The award is a place of flourish from the Healthcare Design Symposium. Received this award since the facility is warm, welcoming, and comforting to families that promotes healing. And that is a thing that we all need to be proud of. Is Bruce Kaminsky here? No? But, you know, Bruce led this initiative, and and we all know it was very successful. Myself, trustee Linda Moss Mines, and other associates here, Jed led as the Master of Ceremonies, LST 325 Memorial Ship opening yesterday. Erlanger was proud to be one of the sponsors of this very meaningful ceremony. We submitted for battle pay since we were outside yesterday in 95-degree weather, but we all survived very well. I can't say that for everybody. But I would like to thank Trustee Linda Morse Mines for her involvement with veterans in this community. There was also a prior meeting of Medal of Valor that was here at a luncheon. A four-star general, as well as other generals were there, and a Medal of Honor winner was here, and they were also honored as well. And for Erlanger to be part of how veterans play in this community is something we're personally dedicated. And Linda's steadfast involvement in veterans' activities of people who put themselves in harm's way for all of us needs to be acknowledged. So thank you. Erlanger is sponsoring the Connect Network this evening. Our esteemed Greg Gentry will be speaking today. This event's purpose is more intentional about diversity and inclusion as it relates to the foundation board and volunteers. Liz and as well as Cindy Johnson from the foundation suggested we have this event, and we are part of it, and it is going to be going on shortly. I want to also announce that we opened 2 additional Erlanger urgent cares. We call them Erlanger Express Care in Ringgold and Hayesville, thanks to the trustees who showed up, Mr. Smart and others who showed up at these things. They're absolutely beautiful. And all of them are way ahead of budget. More people are coming and using them, and we're providing access to care so people don't have to come to our emergency department and wait long times and receive care in the communities where they live. At this point, I want to wish everybody a wonderful, happy Labor Day weekend, and enjoy your families. Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you. I thought about saying this a second ago. I don't know if everybody realizes, but we have the monthly Murphy board meeting prior to this meeting, and the executive committee serves on that Murphy board. And although we did not meet as a board here last month, we did go up to Murphy. We traveled up to Murphy and had a great meeting up there with them. And I thought that was really good to spend time face to face, get to know them and spend time with them. And hopefully that'll be a tradition that'll carry on. Since we don't traditionally meet in July, that's a good time to go up there. So I just wanted to point that out. Anyone have any else to add? Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Perfect.